everyone, Joshua Hanlon here, and today I'm at the Brickmania store in Chantilly, Virginia, right next to the expo hall where they hold Brick Fair, Virginia, and we're going to be giving you a whole tour around this Brickmania store. So I've got the manager with me if you want to introduce yourself, and then we'll take a look around the store.
Hello everyone, I'm Chris. I'm the manager here for the Brickmania store in Chantilly. We've been here for about 2 years or so, and if you want, we can go ahead and start walking you through. But obviously the main portion of everything here is going to be we have a lot of Brickmania kits. We've got older kits, we've got newer kits, and best of all, we have displays of just about everything. So not as many as they have at the GHQ store where they have literally everything, but we've got the big ones. We've got the Blackbirds, we've got the Super Stallions, we've got the AC-130s, and all the cool good guys and all the little cool stuff in between as well.
That's part of what makes coming to one of these Brickmania stores so cool if anyone has the opportunity to visit one, because you do have all of these kits on display. So you might have seen them on the website, but here you can actually see them built in person.
It is, and everyone keeps saying it is a different experience to see it in person, and people are generally most surprised about the scale, just because we do most of our stuff at about 1/35th scale or minifigure scale, so that figures will fit inside of it, except for the bigger things like the boats. But for the most part, people are just blown away by how big and how elaborate a lot of these kits are. And even the detail they get on the smaller stuff too, it's hard to see on the website sometimes.
Do you build all these yourself when they come in, or how does that work to actually get these all on display?
We generally do have to build the displays. Some of them show up pre-built. Thankfully, the Mohawk showed up pre-built because that thing is incredibly elaborate, and I don't trust myself to do it. But most of them we get to build, which is everyone says, oh, you get to build Lego for a job. It's great, and yeah, they're right. But there's other stuff to it too. But we do get to build most of the nice, cool displays, or I let my associates do it when they're feeling. When they do good work.
So if we turn this way, then you've got a couple kind of window displays when you first walk up here. What do you keep in these typically, and does this stuff kind of cycle through a lot?
So basically anything that's in the front window is stuff we want to make sure we still actually have here, because that's what people see when they come in. So we keep all of our really cool ones, and we sometimes try and theme them by various types or various time periods, but we get super cool ones like the Shermans and the Fireflies and other cool tanks up in the front so people can see all the cool detailing and things like that. And then some of the smaller ones are kind of off to the side. The big planes obviously don't fit. I know every Lego, aficionado who's got big kits has probably bemoaned the fact they don't fit into their displays or they're hard to fit somewhere. But yeah, so the big boats and the giant planes like the U-2 or other stuff like that will go on top. But these are just our ones that we generally have here. And if we do run out of them, we'll still keep them here on display because we want people to be able to see them. They're better where people can see them than they are in a bag somewhere in the back room. But people always come in like, oh, great, you have this. And we're like, oh, sorry, we don't. Because you guys know how much they sell out online, like within minutes at times. So we still have some pretty crazy old ones in here. We got ones from last Christmas, even ones from older. We still have a Scrapyard Stuart left, if anybody knows what that looks like. It is probably one we'll never see again.
Some very unique designs, but that's what makes Brickmania so cool. Yeah. So we'll walk over.
Like a little treasure. It's like a little treasure hunt. Sometimes you'll find kits or figures you didn't expect to ever see again.
Yeah, exactly. We can walk over here then. So similar idea with this cabinet?
Similar idea, yeah. So the top ones are generally going to be the newest ones. So these are stuff that just came out, the BF-110s, some of the new half-tracks and things. And a lot of the new ones have actually already sold out. Some of the new ones that came out this week are already off of our shelves. So if you are in town or you stop by, yeah, you may see cool old stuff, but you may not see the new stuff you're looking for just because of how crazy the fan base is. They love it.
So what percentage of the people that come in this store are already Brickmania fans versus people who just see like some really cool Lego military kits and are like, I had no idea this was even a thing?
I would say probably about 60% of the people who come in at least have a passing familiarity with Brickmania or other like Legos, just Lego in general, even more so. A lot of people are very surprised, and they're surprised that it is actually Lego pieces. They think that we make the pieces. They think that we are a knockoff of some sort, and you kind of have to be the education center for people. This is kind of what we do. This is how we put together these kits. Here's all the extra detail we put in, and just kind of explain what makes a Brickmania kit a Brickmania kit. We also sell other stuff here. We've got some other accessories and things from Brick Arms and Brick Forge and Brick Tracks and everything with brick in the name. Not very, very creative bunch, are they? But yeah, no, and then people, once they see the kits, no one comes in and is like, oh, these look like garbage. These are terrible. No. Everyone loves it.
At least not to your face.
At least not to our face, and that's fine. If we can't see it, out of sight, out of mind. But no, I mean, people love the kits, and they especially love to see a lot of the history that goes into, about them. You can kind of see all the different uniforms and the different unit markings and things, and some people go crazy over that, especially with a lot of the modern kits. Some people have come in here, and they're like, oh, my God, that's the unit. Like, that helicopter has the unit tags that I flew in that, when I was in the service. So I love it when Dan or Land or whatever puts in a sticker pack with multiple things in there, so you can kind of decorate it however you want to be what you enjoy the most.
And then moving around the corner, we've got another glass cabinet and then a whole bunch of the sealed kits here. But what is this for?
Well, this is to explain. So this one here, one of our associates is actually trying to build his way through the Rats and Foxes book, which is one of the instruction books that we offer. And I mean, some of you may have tried that before, and finding all the bricks is a challenge in and of itself, but I feel like there's probably a little bit more personal fulfillment if you've sourced everything and built it yourself than maybe just building out of a box. And then some of the other ones in here, we have just the kits that wouldn't fit anywhere because they're too big, like the Titan rocket. No offense to it, it's just very tall. And then we have some of the other Kobe kits in here because a lot of people, again, are not really familiar with Kobe as a company or what they do. So we have a few of the kits that we wanted to build so we could just display them here. And they're actually pretty nice. People seem to really be liking them. Figures are a bit wonky, but...
And then all of the beautiful black boxes here from some of your largest kits, like the LC AC there, and then even some of the much smaller stuff. You've got a nice variety.
Oh yeah, I mean, for most of the kits that come out online, we'll get at least one copy here in the store. Even for some of the big ones like the LCAC and the AC-130, some of the really big ones that are coming out like the Roman Fort, we may not get a display copy for, or some of the ones we may not get a sales copy here. But we'll generally get at least one of everything that comes out on the website. So a lot of people, if they've missed out on a minifigure or a set online, which is very common, will give us a call and then you'll stop by because we'll still have it, sometimes even weeks later. So.
Do you ship things out from the store if you have it on hand, or do they have to come in person?
We do not. No, we do not ship things out of the stores. That all gets handled through Minneapolis. We've had people come by or say, oh, I have a family member who lives by is going to pick it up and ship it to me. That's fine. People do that. That's how you get it. That's how you get it. But we don't ship directly from the store. Gotcha.
That makes sense. So we can keep moving through these pretty quickly here. Any favorites or anything you want to point out as we walk down this line?
I guess honestly, I think the little L640 is cute. I played a fair bit of War Thunder back in the day, and as an idiot like I am, I decided to main the Italian tree, and that was what I got stuck with for several hours. So I don't know if it beat the lovin' to me or if I just love it on a deeply personal level.
You know the Italians known for their amazing military equipment.
Absolutely. You know, the best thing is everything in that game, the best Italian stuff all has wheels on it. It was great. This one had the little wheels. I love some of the bigger kits, especially some of the more modern ones, because we do get a lot of people around here who may have served with it or, you know, worked with it, and they have that kind of personal connection to it. The F-117 is a super cool thing. I don't know how Dan managed to get all those connections to work. It's way too big brain for me.
Do you try to do any like research on each kid, or what's your level of knowledge if somebody comes in and is like wanting historical background or something like that?
It's something that you pick up over time, and I definitely, like, having played a lot of like historical, you know, video games and things, like I pick up a lot of things or just read things on Wikipedia, which is good. But I find that a lot of our customers come in here and know a fair bit more about stuff than we do, or have some sort of story about it, and we kind of love cataloging those things here. But we try and know a little bit about at least each kit, and especially like the brick arms and which faction or which nationality they belong to, because a lot of people are trying to build a mock with certain figures and they want to know, all right, which gun's going to look correct. And so we gotta be on our game about that.
So that takes us to this massive collection of brick arms then.
Yes. It's depleted as of right now because of all the people coming through, but we have basically almost all the brick arms that Brickmania has available on the website. And we try and keep it as stocked as possible, so we have all sorts of things. We've also got stuff from places like Minifig.cat, Brick Warriors, Cape Madness. We've got a lot of extra things that you may not find, or they wouldn't even have a retail store. So we kind of become like a hotspot for the third-party Lego accessories, which people really like to customize their stuff with.
Yeah, that's great. You can act as that kind of central hub for other brands as well to sell those stuff.
I think so, because having a retail store is a lot of work, and for those smaller brands that may not be able to do it, get it into Brickmania.
You would be familiar as the manager.
Yes. Yeah. I'm always looking up stuff online. I'm like, hey, can we get this in the store? Can we get that in the store? People are asking about this. I mean, every time I look online, I find that there's a new, you know, person doing something cool with new printing or new, you know, some new 3D printed element. We started getting Eclipse graphic stuff in here. His stuff is great. I love it. I've built several mocks of my own just around pieces that he sold that I'm like, I got to build something around this. I got to do something with that. It sparks imagination.
For sure. Fantastic. So we'll keep coming down to this end of the wall, and this gets more into kind of the minifigures and accessories area, right?
Yes. The minifigures is one of the most popular things. If you guys are familiar with Brickmania, you know how crazy our minifigure, you know, collectors are. That's why we had to put limits on people not buying 15 of them at a time. Yeah, we will have minifigures generally days and days and days after they have sold out online. Many of them sell out instantaneously. So we have a good collection here, and if you're looking for something that might be a little bit older, people call us all the time, say, do you have this, do you have that? And a lot of times we do. So it's worth checking in just to see if we have something.
Is there anywhere online where you post kind of your inventory, or do they pretty much have to call you up to see if...
They have to check in with us. Our inventory is different from whatever you may see posted online. So if we're reordering stuff for like brick arms and things, we order from the main hub at GHQ. However, our inventory and their inventory are two separate things. So.
Gotcha. No, that's good to know. But yeah, if you're fortunate enough to live by one of the Brickmania stores, it's definitely helpful to pick up some of that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, there's only 3, so most people aren't going to be that lucky, sadly. But we have so many people traveling from 2 or 3 states away, or they're on their way to somewhere else. They'll stop by. It's definitely worth the stop. And because we have a lot of fun little retail exclusives, like we have the Brick Mini Soldiers, and we have Eclipse Graphics stuff here in the store, and we've got Brick Forge and all sorts of other things. A lot of the Reloaded stuff, people really do seem to like those. And so we have things that wouldn't be available online, so it kind of drives people here to the stores, and they get to see everything else that we do, which is what we want. We want people to see our stuff and think it's cool.
No, I think you guys have succeeded at that. That's good.
Yeah.
So these are then some of the, you got like the micro brick battle stuff here, right?
Micro Brick Battle, yep. That's our little tabletop battle game. So we had a big wave of Micro Brick Battle earlier this year, where we had stuff coming out for each of the different, nationalities. Where we got Germans, Americans. Do we have the French one? We don't have the French one. And Japanese and British and all sorts of stuff. So that's a fun little tabletop battle game you can play on the kitchen table. You get some stuff, build some little tanks out of Legos, and it's really simple and easy to play. We've taught kids from very, very young ages to, older adults how to play, and they all seem to enjoy it. And then we have our cool instruction books here. I don't think we're making any more instruction books at the moment because we've transitioned over to the online instructions, which have been hugely popular. We've got all sorts of sticker packs to go with those. But these are good for a lot of people. There's a pretty running trend amongst our clientele that they seem to have buckets of Lego at home. It's just, they come in, they're like, I have too much Lego. You're in the right place. So we've got these to help those people out if they want to use their collection to build something more elaborate.
And this was the book I think you mentioned earlier, right? That the builder was working through building all those kits.
Yep. So that's all like North Africa, British and Germans. Each of our books are based around a different time period or theater of war. So we have Vietnam, Desert Storm, a couple for the Great War, or World War One, and then a whole bunch for World War II for different theaters, Pacific Theater, Operation Barbarossa, stuff like that.
Then this section here looks like more traditional kind of modeling type builds.
Yeah, so we have a little bit of Bolt Action and Warhammer in the store here because they're also kind of fun tabletop battle games. Bolt Action is done by Warlord Games, and it's one of those build and paint your own model games, and it's the one that they do that is entirely World War II based. So they have very elaborate and very detailed models that you can kind of customize, just like how Brick Arms is now doing those little customizable vests and things like that. These guys have the same thing, just on a slightly smaller scale. And you can get tanks and you can get planes and things like that. And it's actually a pretty fun game, putting units on the board, moving them around, shooting each other, blowing each other up. It's fun.
Hours of fun, yes.
Hours of fun. Hours and hours of fun.
What do we have on the other shelves?
And then we got some some Nerf guns here for the kids that come by and stuff like that. Nerf's also pretty fun. It's just, I don't know why we got them, but it's fun. And Brickmania is a fun place, so you have fun things. It makes sense.
That's right. It doesn't just have to be Lego related.
It doesn't. No. Brickmania is not specifically just a Lego store because we're not a company that's just affiliated with Lego. So we can get away with doing other stuff that we want to do because we are not tied to any sort of things that they might say.
Sure.
Or mandate.
And then we've got this beautiful U-boat model back here.
Boot. We got the U-boat here. So this was done by a friend of Brickmania who lent us out as a display, and it's been on display here basically since we opened. So this is a lovely German U-boat. I believe it's based off the one from the movie Das Boot, and it's got all the characters roaming around inside. You can see up by the very front they're loading torpedoes in. You've got the periscope here. You've got the deck guns. You got the commander down here in the main communications room. You got the engines down over here. You have yourself a little toilet here where they have all their extra food stored. I mean, space is at a premium in a submarine. If you have a blank wall, you're doing something wrong.
That's right. No, this is one of those like classic, great-looking Brickmania displays right here.
Yeah, it's beautiful. I don't think Brickmania has done too many U-boats or submarines in the past. There's a few small ones I think that were in some of the books, but this is probably the biggest one we've ever had here in the store. It could fit inside the Macon Island, though, that's for sure. It could slide right up on in there.
And then across from that, here's an example of the game that you were talking about earlier.
So this is our kind of starter set for Micro Brick Battle. People can come in and they can try it out and play and, see if they like it. But we have a whole bunch of different tanks. So we've got Shermans and Hellcats and Priests and Pershings. And then on the German side, they've got their Stugs and their Panzer IIIs and their the Vespes or Vespes. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. Somebody in the comments section.
Close enough.
Yeah. The Panther and the Tiger, and like we say, we make a lot of different versions of those, so they're fun to play around with. And then the best thing is people just like to kind of create their own little tanks, and you can do that. It's really easy. It's Lego. You put them together, have fun.
And then we'll just go and move up to this table while we're here as well. So this is some of the biggest, most impressive stuff.
The big boys. Yeah, this is our big boy. This is the AC-130. This is basically Cody's last big model for us, and it is, I think, not the largest model we've ever made. I think that goes to the Highland Keep and maybe soon supplanted by the big Roman fort that Dan's doing. But it is probably one of the coolest models we have ever done. It obviously has, Lego motors in each of the engines. You could probably set it up for lights too if you wanted to. It's got a full detailed interior, and don't know if I'd ever try this because I'd be scared to death. I think he said that you can pull these off here, and there's a pin you can pop out, and the whole top of it comes off, so you can get the interior where all the crew can go in. You can see the gunnery stations and the cockpit and everything. I would be scared to do that because then I'd have to put it all back together. And then over here next to it, we have the B-24, which is our big World War II era bomber. Another big, wide plane with a cool crew. And it's got all the different guns coming off the side. It's got working bomb bays, just like all of our things do. Any of the control surfaces should move. It is another beautiful, beautiful kit. If anybody missed out on the B-17, we still got a B-24. Was it the B-17 that we did? Yeah. Then the B-24 is still here, and it would be a good replacement, I guess.
You've got some bomber in stock. That's important.
We've got at least a bomber hanging around, yeah. And then we also have our sticker packs here. And people, if they've ever tried to make a giant mock, they know how many figures they need and just how much work that would go into if you wanted to get everybody custom printed. It's crazy. The sticker packs are a beautiful way to just get a whole bunch of guys. You throw a couple brick arms on them, and boom, you've got a squad, you've got a unit, you got a brigade going on. We do them for all sorts of different time periods and nationalities, and we've even started doing them for a lot of our ebooks. Basically, they'll have a sticker sheet that will make up for any of the printed pieces that would have been in the original set. So if you want to try and build one of our older models like the F-14 or the Krankenpanzerwagen, we've got all those cool things to help you get that original Brickmania look.
Yeah. No, like you said, it's a nice cheaper alternative because those printed minifigs can be so expensive.
They can be. And if you're going to have like 100 dudes in a mock and they're all fighting over a piece of land, you're like, do I really want to spend that much money? I'll get these guys. And they look great too. So it's not like they look terrible.
And is this some board games kind of back here?
So we've got some board games and some other tabletop games like Star Wars X-Wing. We've got a lot of other like tabletop board games here. Some of the older school like hexagon-based war games and some of the easier, quicker to play games like Risk. Well, I shouldn't say Risk is quick to play, but all sorts of other fun stuff here because a lot of the people who come in are gamers at heart, and a lot of them like to get into stuff like Micro Brick Battle is a good way in, and these are also pretty simple, fun, easy games. And a lot of people over at the Brick Fair have been picking up games for board game night and stuff like that. So
yeah, there's a lot of overlap between these different fandoms, and so I think your store kind of captures a lot of that.
Yeah. And we've moved right down along here. We've got a couple other brick building companies, so we have a little bit of the Mega Construct stuff here. We've also got some stuff from Brick Tracks because, the brick model railroaders are basically the Lego train people are a whole nother breed of Lego people. That's one thing I've learned from working here is that there's many tribes amongst the Lego community, and some of them are very, very particular about what they want. So I didn't even know that they had different radiuses of tracks, and I started looking into it, and there's all sorts of crazy cool things. So we try and carry some of that here, stuff that you wouldn't be able to get outside of maybe ordering it online. So, and then we've got Kobe stuff here in the store now. Oh, we got random bricks because Brickmania, we have bricks, we have lots of bricks, and we have all sorts of bags of random bricks here, different cool crazy pieces, and they're all new condition, so there's no teeth marks or marker or anything on them. We can add teeth marks if you want to.
A little customization.
Yeah, that's a little extra fee. But we have all sorts of cool extra bricks here. And then behind you is we have Kobe. Kobe is another company. They're Polish that does a lot of their own. They obviously make their own bricks, and they do a lot of cool military stuff as well. The nice thing about them is they make a lot of kits that we will probably never get around to because there's far more kits on our list of things we'd like to do than there ever is time in a day to do them. So we have these as kind of an alternative for people, and especially for some of the younger kids and stuff like that. Some of our bigger, more elaborate builds they may be interested in are just kind of above their skill level or outside their range. So the Kobe is a very nice alternative to it. And I've built a couple other kits, and I have not had any issues with them. And they're actually very fun to put together.
Yeah, and like you said, I mean, when it comes to military history kits,
Mhm.
there's so many different vehicles and things you can cover that there's too much for Brickmania to do.
Even within the same vehicle, people will want a different variation. Like how many different variants of the P40 have there been, and they all want this coloration or that coloration or this. The engine nozzles were changed or something like that. So we can't always get around to that just because of the way we do our production. So a lot of times, Kobe helps us fill that gap. And if worst comes to worst, you can just kind of customize it with the pieces you have because they all interact with Lego. So it's a fun little alternative.
Here we've got some nice Brickmania merch.
We do. We've got some Brickmania merch. We've got shirts. We've got T-shirts. We've got all sorts of cool stuff. We got Zippos and drink vessels and all sorts of things. Whenever Brickmania does some nice cool shirts and stuff like that, which they also have over at Brick Fair right now, we'll get some new ones in. People love to rep Brickmania. It's always fun when you see one of the kids coming running up to the store and he's got his Brickmania T-shirt on, and the parents are taking pictures in front of the store. It's like Disneyland. It's great. It's like, man, I wish I could be that excited about it. It's great.
You're making kids' dreams come true here.
It is. We don't even know it. But yeah, no. So some people, like I said, some people have traveled 3 or 4 states to just come visit Brickmania. It's kind of their little pilgrimage to it. So
I love the little book section here as well. You've got some Lego books, but also a lot of just kind of military history books that are fantastic as well.
I mean, many of the people who come in here are kind of very much interested in military history, or they're military history scholars. And then a lot of them are also Lego aficionados. So we try and go for both ends of that Venn diagram there and get everybody. And then we also have some stuff for our different role-playing games like Dungeons and Dragons. And we will have board gaming and, role-playing nights in the store. So we'll have those events for people who want to come in and learn how to play those games, and people who already know how and want to come and find a group where they can kind of hang out with. And a lot of people just like to kind of come hang out around the models, check things out. It's a nice, chill place.
Some Warhammer stuff over here as well.
Warhammer, that's another kind of build and paint your own armies game. So they have 2 different ones. There's Warhammer, which is more of the sci-fi, grimdark, grr, everyone's evil, the universe is exploding, deal with it. And then there's the Age of Sigmar, which is more of the grr, grimdark, high fantasy, everyone's exploding, deal with it. Both of them are very, very fun. This is kind of what I grew up with. Like, truth be told, I was actually not a huge Lego kid outside of Bionicle, which was kind of my jam for a bit. But I grew up with all sorts of Warhammer stuff, building and painting those. So that's where I think I kind of like doing the customizing minifigs, is because when I grew up, if it didn't look like you wanted to, you glued it, paint it, cut it until it fit. And that may be heresy among some of the Lego crowd, but who's judging?
Yeah, it's nice that you've been able to have this experience then to get into the Lego world a little more.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, I've seen a lot of people who have done actually amazing mocks, and I think I've even seen some of them over there of Warhammer stuff made out of Lego. I think that may be the only way to make Warhammer more expensive, but is make it out of Lego. But it's beautiful, and like I wish I had the time and the pieces and the know-how to do that myself.
And that takes us to kind of the final display area here.
Our last case here, where we have some of the biggest ones. So up top, we've got the Valor, which is their cool new, I don't know if you can see that with the light, but the cool new tilt rotor one. And it will actually, rotate with, it goes from horizontal to vertical. And then we have the Sherpa over here with our cool smoke jumpers, which are, they're parachuting firefighters. It's the crazy guys who are like, wildfire? Cool, I'll jump out of a plane into there. I'll take my chainsaw. I mean, it's one of those jobs on paper where you reel it and you're like, oh, these guys are crazy. And then we have a bunch of our smaller kits here, starting with the awesome Doomsayer Brew Pub. I hope that is not the end of the Randoverse, because I love what they started doing with that. I don't know if it was just an excuse to play around with doing a bajillion printed elements, but they really knocked it out of the park. We have all sorts of different AT guns, infantry support guns. Do you want to hold this? I love the little Ontos here, which is the Marines from Vietnam. They had the big 6 recoilless rifles on it. It's such a weird design. And then all sorts of Jeeps and cars and staff cars and bomb loaders. And then we actually have our little trains on here as well. These were done with the help of the people from Brick Model Railroad. I think we had, Glenn and Kale did designs for some of these. And my God, they are amazing. These are some of the most beautiful models. And I got to put together 1 or 2 of these. And they were just an absolute joy to put together.
They are legends in the train building community.
And I can obviously see why. Just like, I had a hard enough time just putting the few pieces of this that fell off in transit. I don't know how they managed to mail it with me without it disintegrating. But like having to design that from scratch, it's well beyond my pay grade.
Now, I know you might have mentioned this a little bit earlier, but do you still do events here, or like can people come in for various get-togethers, that sort of thing? How do you approach that with the store?
For a while, we were not running those for obvious reasons, but we are starting those up again. So we will have, it's on our website, actually has a listing of our events, And so we will have kind of different, every week we'll have a different thing, whether it be a board gaming night or like a role playing night or like our Brickmaniacs club, which is on certain Sundays. And then we'll also just kind of have like open gaming days on Saturdays. You can kind of come in, you can hang out if you want to, and we have time, we can teach you how to play various games, whether it be Warhammer, whether it be Micro Brick Battle, things like that. And then we will also start doing our Mock Monday events again, which is basically the last Monday of every month. You can bring in a mock. It usually has to fit on like one large base plate. And we'll have it in the store, display it for a bit. People can come and vote on them, and then the winner will generally get some sort of prize, some of the stuff. And they'll get to, if we can fit it somewhere, we'll try and display it if they want to leave it here. Display it so that other people can come in and appreciate their work. So we've had a lot of the local communities and lugs and stuff come by, and we'll do events every now and then with them. For a while, they weren't able to do events just about anywhere, so we tried to help out where we could. But we're going to try and get back into the swing of that next month for sure.
Well, that's all very exciting. It's been great to kind of look around the whole store here, see everything that you guys have on display. Definitely anyone who's in town, whether it might be for Brick Fair, Virginia, or just in general in the Washington, D.C. area, I think this is definitely a must-stop if you're a LEGO fan, definitely if you're a Brickmania fan.
Absolutely. And like I said, I've said before, I'm always surprised how many people don't know that we're here. We are kind of tucked away here by the Dallas Expo Center. But so many people come by and they didn't realize we're here, and then they keep coming by again and again and again. So if you do live in the the Metro DC area and you're interested in LEGO or Brickmania, we're down here by the Dallas Expo Center. Come by basically 7 days a week.
Great. Thank you so much for the tour around the store. Can't wait to see what you guys do here in the future. Appreciate it.
I'm gonna think it's probably gonna do something with LEGO, more models. Maybe we have to find some more cases because we just keep making more models. I know we're gonna put them all. All right.
Lots of fun possibilities.
Indeed, there's always more possibilities to be had.